you have to be very delicate with it here.
All right, I can't
Because
believe...
you see, the objective is not so much to make fun of people, but to bring your attention to things that you may have otherwise ignored. And then people go, hey, you made fun of us. I go, actually, you laughed.
Right.
So it's kind of your fault.
Right. But tell me, it's often thought that Indians can't laugh at themselves, but do you find that different?
Well, no, there is a large group of Indians that can't laugh at themselves, but
Like our
that's why they're
politicians?
politicians, right? So, and so, the rest of the people, the real people, which I like to call them, you guys, would be the real people, and then you got these phonies that have no sense of humor about anything, and then you have these other people who think they're these nationalists who are doing great things for the country, but in fact they're harming it in their own certain way,
Right.
So I think it's the people who actually can step aside and laugh at themselves. Those are the people that ends up going further because you're able to see two sides of a coin.
Like which particular bits have gone down well with the audiences here so far?
Well, all the classics, I keep getting requests when I'm on stage, but I'm trying to
Any requests?
No, I'm not doing them. I'm just saying I won't be doing them. But
right.
they're too long. They're just long stories. But I'm trying to do the new material, and then I'm trying to write material whilst I'm here, and then I'm trying to do some old stuff. But it's hard to do old stuff because the whole thing with comedy is the element of surprise. And I've been watching these Indian Laughter Challenge and all this stuff, and who is that guy that just laughs at anything? But he doesn't just, it's almost like they're zapping him every time, right? He's just like, ha-ha. He's like, ha! It's like he grabs his ass and laughs, ha!
Okay. And what do you say about politicians here?
A little stiff. But I'll be honest with you, I'm scared of the politicians here. Because politicians here aren't like politicians in North America, where it's like, you say something about them, and they're like, I don't know. Over here, they'll like take you out. You know what I mean? What'd you say about me? Russell Peters' bus exploded today. And the politicians were like, I don't know how that happened. I have nothing bad to say. You politicians are doing a great job.
And what about Bollywood stars and Bollywood movies?
Bollywood movies, man, if you like them, Godspeed, Good for you for having no expectations from a movie. But then I heard one excuse for liking Bollywood movies. My cousin, this morning, I was having breakfast with her, and she said that her daughter-in-law likes Bollywood movies because she can just put it on and tune out, and there's no thought involved. And I'm like, well, then why don't you just go to sleep? Like, why are you wasting 5 hours on this film? You know what I mean? I don't like them. To me, it's about looks over talent. If you look great, you can be in a Bollywood movie. You don't have to be able to act.
So you do have a few favorites in Bollywood, right?
Well, no, I think, what they're doing is great. Without Bollywood, who would I make fun of? You know what I mean? But it really is. To me, Bollywood's based on looks over talent. The acting is always overdone. It's never like, it's never subtle. There's nothing subtle. It's always like, somebody just stole your goat. It's never like, oh man, my goat? You know what I mean? That's why I like Tamil movies, It's not about looks in those movies. It's...
That is so bad. But, okay, Bollywood is one, but what about your parents? When your father hears your skits about him?
Well, he doesn't hear them anymore. He passed away, but when he did hear them, he would always go, I don't talk like that. I never said that. Why do you? And then, he would say that, but at the same time he'd be proud, you know what I mean? That's my son. He makes fun of me. You know me? I'm like, no, they've never seen you, Dad. They've only heard the caricature of you through me,
But did he really say that to you?
No, what, somebody's going to get hurt? I'll tell you where that came from. In Canada, I used to DJ, and they used to have these daytime dances in the early 90s because Indian parents were really strict. and they wouldn't allow their kids to go out at night, so they would have these daytime dances, and I would DJ them. So there was always fights at these dances, and there was never like fights. It was like these Indian fights where, you know, it's like, and I used to box. So to me, whenever there's a fight, I always watch because I'm like, ooh, I want, and then I'm always thinking, and then, like, could somebody just like stand straight, throw a punch, slip something, you know, just, but it's never that clean when you watch it. Anyway, this fight broke out at one of the dances, and in Canada there's a lot of new Indians and young kids like you, but more from like the Pind. You know what I mean? Like these are like real village kids, and now they're in the big city. And this fight breaks out, and this other kid jumps in. I run towards the fight because I see the fight, and then this other kid jumps in. And he goes, "Hey, nobody fight today, okay? Or somebody gonna get hurt real bad." And that's exactly where it came from. And then my friends and I were watching, and we started laughing because you know there's this big fight, and everyone's like, oh, and then like somebody, and we're like, ah, and the whole night we're like saying it for like we said it for years, and then it wasn't until much later where I incorporated it into my act, and there was like many variations on the way before I got to the final story, because the story's true, but the phrase wasn't. You know what I mean? But that's how comedy works. It's based off something real, and then there's the exaggeration that follows.
For those who haven't heard it, just very quickly the story.
Well, the story was, you know, you must beat your kids. Basically, you have to hit your kids, and if you don't hit your kids, you know, they're going to grow up to be...
Like whites.
Well, not even, because I've been asking audiences in India, and there's some sort of new parenting happening here. Where Indian parents are like, no, I don't hit him. The kid's like, I don't get hit. I'm like, you're a brat then. Get hit. You know what I mean? People that never get hit are usually mouthier than everybody else. Because they don't know what it's like to be slapped in the face. Right. Like, I'm mouthy because I was always told to shut up. Right. My dad would always threaten, like, my dad wouldn't say somebody's going to get hurt, but he would make me get hurt. You know what I mean? He wouldn't be like, somebody going to, he'd be like, come here. And then, like, oh, that hurt. That's right. You know? And so the more they repressed my wanting to speak out, the more I spoke out later on. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you have to beat these kids, and it's just good. I'm not saying, you know, turn an iron on and burn them, but, you know, every now and then a little... Or, you know, the subtle ones, you know, where your parents kind of pull your arm really hard, you know? Come here, son, you know? Indian parents like to grind their teeth when they're getting mad. Come here! They don't raise their voice because that would be, you know, too much show.
Now, how about some questions? I can see a lot of you identify your parents like that. Right? Yeah.
Did you get hit, Stripey?
Yeah, lots of times.
Lots of times. Good, see? And now you're a good kid, right? How old are you?
Yeah. I'm 19.
19?
Yeah.
You're young as hell. That's good, right?
No,
Oh,
not
I thought that I was trying to teabag you. So you got hit, but they can't hit you anymore, obviously, at 19.
Yeah.
Oh, they still do?
No.
I'm like, wow.
Not on national television.
Man, you're a punk.
You won't admit on national television.
All right, well, there you go.
No, they don't hit.
They want to hit you now. But...
Yeah, they do.
Right, how about some questions? Yeah, go ahead. Why didn't you ask a question? Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Did you face any kind of racism when you were a kid, basically, during your childhood?
That's all I faced when I was a kid. Seriously, growing up in Canada is not, like over here, I don't know what kind of racism you're facing. I think you're facing classism over here, you know what I mean? You know, I have this much money, you don't have this much money, I'm better than you. And that to me doesn't work either, because I honestly, as much as I make fun of everybody, and it sounds cliche and it sounds like the right thing to say, but I really do look at everybody the exact same way. There's no variance when I look at people. I could look at a beggar the same way that I look at you, same way that I look at you, and I will talk to all three of you the exact same way. And in doing so, I may offend you because, you know, you may not be used to being talked like that, and the beggar may be like, what the hell did you say to me?
Have you ever got beaten up?
No, that's why I boxed. for fear. I used to get beaten up a lot.
Really?
Yeah, until I was about 15, and then I started boxing for 9 years, and then I never got beaten up again. And then when I stopped boxing, I started doing jiu-jitsu, and then I was like, all right, well, I guess I can say anything now.
All right. But in all your life as a DJ, have you ever seen a cool Indian?
You meet cool Indians. Cool is not.
I mean, in your skits about Indians versus Jamaicans.
No, you meet
Indians
cool
don't-
Indians. You meet them. You meet them every now and then. It's more of an inner thing. You know what I mean? When you see somebody trying too hard, like that's the other thing with the Bollywood actors. I see them try so hard. Like they buy every cheesy piece of clothing you can buy. Like those ugly ass True Religion jeans and the shirts with all the print all over it and the Ed Hardy hats. I'm like, come on, man, that's like cheeseball central. You know, you got to be able to think. Like what you rock is what you know. They may wear these clothes, but they don't really own the look. Do you know what I mean? It's always like, hey, I saw somebody else do this. Maybe I should do this. And I'm like, you're 50 years old. Why are you dressed like that? You're dressed like a 14-year-old Persian kid from Beverly Hills.
Persian.
Yeah, there's a ton of Persians in Beverly Hills.
Right.
Moolah, moolah, moolah.
Really? Okay, we take a short break. That was just an order. Okay, now get your questions ready, right? Hi, and welcome back to India Questions, Russell Peters. And if you want to see more of him after this, just go onto YouTube and type Russell Peters. My God, YouTube, how many millions of hits has it been?
20-something million, 25 million?
25 million? Do you
For
get a
what?
cent per hit?
Not a cent.
Shit.
That's why I get upset when people try and, like, I have my new DVD out and people keep trying to upload it. And what they miss on the point on with this whole uploading of my new DVD is, A, I paid for that DVD to be made. Like, that's me. Like, that was all me. I executive produced it. I, did the whole thing myself. And the other problem with that is Indians are an invisible minority in North America. And much to the rest of the world, they think we're self-contained. They think that we got Bollywood and, Bangalore, and that's it. And that's all we need. But the reason we stay invisible over there is because we don't show to be a viable financial market to them as far as DVDs and movies and stuff like that go, because we bootleg ourselves.
Right.
So the only thing it does is hurt us in the long run. So I don't really care about the money so much. I'm just more interested in having our people stop being represented the wrong way in American media, like in the movies and with the 7-Eleven guy and the taxi driver and the thank you, come again, and like that stuff is so awful. And whenever they ask me to do it, I get angry. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, dude, if you go to India, sure they may sound something like that, but their brains are a lot smarter than you could ever imagine. You know what I mean? And so it bothers me. And then, so for when I try to like do these DVDs, the reason I want to sell them over there and sell so many units is to show the industry that
There is
look
a
at
market.
this. Yes, look
Right.
what we can do.
Yeah.
But we
Genuine
keep
market.
screwing
That's the
ourselves
point,
by
actually.
uploading and downloading. And I appreciate like what YouTube has done for me, because it took me from, I've been doing stand-up comedy for 14 years when I taped the one special that everybody knows. And now we're going on my 20th year now. So it took me like 14, 15 years just to get out of obscurity.
And YouTube did it.
And YouTube did that for me. So
Amazing.
when I met
20
Steve
million?
Chen, the guy that started YouTube, we were at this Asian Excellence Awards in Los Angeles, and he was standing, his back was facing me, and I just ran up and I hugged him. And he's like, who is this? And I'm like, thanks for making me a millionaire. And then he turned around and goes, oh, hey. And I'm like, no, hey.
But you say all those skits that you do come from something in real life?
Yeah, it's all based on something real that happened. Like in my new show, I talk about coming to India and getting off the plane in Bombay and smelling crap. And people in Bombay were like, hey, we don't smell crap. I'm like, because you've been here, you can't smell it anymore. It's true. And Angelo and my other guy, Ray, was with me, and we got off the plane, and they were like, you didn't describe this enough, because it was like a foul smell when we got off the plane. Now, it may not be there every day, but it just so happens the days that I land, it's there.
And did you stop smelling it after a while?
Yeah, you stop smelling it after about 10 minutes, and then you start wondering, did this burn out my capacity to smell? You know? Because I started I'd be smelling everything. Like I don't smell anything anymore. Nothing smells bad anymore because I smelt the worst thing you could ever smell.
But have you had kind of Indian-Chinese exchanges? How did that whole skit come
Well,
about?
the Indians, I mean, there's some Chinese-looking people here. I mean, they could be Nepalese. I don't know, but are you Chinese, bro? You're looking around the room like, I don't know. Clearly, you know we're talking about you. You're not Chinese? Oh, you're Tibetan. Oh, okay, see? You never know. What about you, Chinese-looking girl? Why are you looking at her? It's almost like I'm breaking news to you right now. Are you Chinese? No. Are you? Or no, the one beside you. Yeah, the one who actually looks Chinese. So
Northeast.
Northeast. Oh, okay. See, you can tell. But the thing is, the Chinese people that have been in India have been here maybe 3-4 generations now.
Right.
They're not Chinese anymore. They just look Chinese, you know. Culturally, they're very different. They think like an Indian. Sure, they may eat Chinese food and open up a great restaurant and rip you off, but still, in their heart of hearts, they think like an Indian. And that's a lot of my new act is based on race versus culture, because racially I'm an Indian man, and there's certain things that I do thinking like an Indian man, but then born and raised in Canada, I do most of my things thinking like a Canadian man.
Right. But what about the bit when our Canadians, when they speak?
Canadians do speak funny, and he does it sometimes. He tries not to, Angela. He's got a very Canadian accent sometimes. He'll be like, hang out, you know. And when I hear it now, because I moved to America 3 years ago, I hear the Canadian accent. When my American friends used to make fun of me when I first moved, they were like, hey, you said oot. And I'm like, I don't say oot. And then I realized I got rid of it. But then when I go back to Canada, I hear it, and I'm like, hey, you just said oot. Hey, I'm going out. In the mall, shopping out in the mall. It's almost like they just can't control their neck, you know? Like they were part pigeon before or something. Let's go out.
Exactly like that. So, Netra, you had a tough question.
I was just wondering that why you make fun of our accents so much. I mean, aren't you also adding to that bad impression that people have?
Well, yes. No, but here's the thing, is that everybody has an accent. So I do a joke about coming here and everybody laughing at me because I sound like this, you know? People are like, hey, listen to those stupidity songs. Because, you know, you got over 1 billion people here that sound like you, and then you got one jackass from Canada who sounds like me, right? So it's all about where you are in headspace, you know. But to me, when I do the accent, it's because that's what I heard growing up from my parents, you know. And so when you grow up and nobody else in the country has that accent but your parents, that's funny. Do you know what I mean? So if I grew up here and I had kids here, they would obviously have an Indian accent, and I would sound like this, and my kids would probably make fun of me. Hey, here comes my dad. Hey, son, get in the house. You know, I'm sure to them it's funny, right? I honestly think that most NRIs have some sort of Indian Tourette's about them. Like, I've never had an Indian accent in my life. But every now and then, an Indian accent just happens.
Suddenly.
Like out of nowhere. And it's always at the worst time, in the worst place. I'll be at a nightclub, I'll see a pretty girl, like, hey, how you doing? I just wanted to know if you'd like to go to a party.
And that's it.
That's it, it's over. I'm like, I got to go.
No, but I mean, why don't people love Indian accents? They love the French accent, they love the Spanish accent. Why not Indian accents?
I don't know what it is about Indian accents. I don't know what it is about the Indian accent. You know what it is? Because we speak English, and the thing is, in India, people speak better English than the English speak, than the Americans speak. They use words here that even I'm like, well, I have to go Google that word right now, because Indians learn proper English over here. And when they speak it, their command of the language is much broader, and they understand everything about it. And when I speak and I, fail to use words and drop letters off at the end, they're like, I don't know what it is you're trying to say. And I'm like, why are you speaking so proper? You know what I mean? Because it's one of those things that I think the Indian accent's great. It's, you know what it is? We have the Indian accent, but then they speak English with Indian gestures. So sometimes it confuses you, you know what I mean? Like my uncle would be like, I can't hear. I can't hear. My uncle really can't hear, by the way. Does this play in Calcutta?
Yeah.
Does this
gestures?
Does this show on in Calcutta?
Yeah.
Uncle Morris, you can't hear. My Uncle Morris can't hear a thing, but he'll swear up and down he can. I'm like, hey, Uncle, did you have a good day? No, I don't know where they've gone. What? This is his favorite thing. Nothing. I can't hear nothing. He bangs his ear. You know what? That's why you can't hear. You're banging your ear.
You do that for 20 years.
Yeah, right? You're going to go deaf.
Okay, on that we'll take a break. When we come back,
This is the susu break, so.
we all feel much better, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to tell us some secrets which you've never told before.
Sure, I
After
don't have
the
any secrets.
Welcome back to this very special India Questions with the one and only Russell Peters. I've got a question here.
Was stand-up comedy something you always wanted to do, or did it just happen? And also, 20 years ago, how Indian parents want their kids to be doctors or engineers. Was it a difficult choice for you, and how did you convince your parents?
Well, for me, it was, I was such a bad student in school. Like, I was really a horrible student. Like, my mom would literally beg with me. She's like, son, please, just get 50. She would beg for me to just pass. Just get 50, that's all. Just pass. Because I would get I got 13% in one class. 13. And then I got 20s and 30s.
That's very reassuring to a lot of people.
Right? But then, it's because I that's not my thing, being that academic like that. And my family's Anglo-Indian. Anglo-Indians, we're not the most studious people in the world, We're a little too proud to be whatever. We're kind of happy just getting by, And my family would have been more than happy if I just got a government job with a pension and, make $30,000 a year or something, which is
They would
barely
have been
livable.
thrilled with that.
They would have been like, that's
So
fine,
when
you've got
you,
a
it's a good
job.
question, when you went to your father and said, I decide what I'm going to do. I'm going to
Well,
be
it's
a
not like,
comic.
I said, I'm going to be a comedian. It's not like it was 1989. They had no clue what a comedian was. I mean, to them, it was it's something, it's not a job to them. It's kind of like, I was like, Dad, I'm going to be a comedian. I was like, that's nice, It's kind of like if you have a kid and the kid comes up and goes, I'm going to be an astronaut. You're like, yes, you are. That's like what it was for me. I was like, I'm going to be a comedian. That's good, son, yes. Now go get a job. So they were never, we weren't professionals. I was never going to be a professional. I don't trust when parents tell you to do something, Your parents say, I'm not saying, disobey your parents or anything, but I mean, I meet a lot of Indian kids in America that are like, I go, what do you do? I'm a doctor. I'm like, did you want to be a doctor? My parents want to be a doctor. I'm like, well then, I don't want to go to you. I don't want to be at the doctor who didn't want to be a doctor. You don't want him cutting you open one day and then he's saying, I hate this job, and he leaves.
Doctor, engineers, or accountants?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want the guy doing the job that his parents wanted him to do. I want him to do the job he wanted to do.
Right.
Now, maybe it was a crazy job, so this is what you should do. You know what I mean? But the same thing, everybody told me that when I got into stand-up that it's crazy, you're never going to make it, this and that, you're Indian. I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm going to make it. I'm like, are you kidding? My people are so resourceful. We grew up in the harshest conditions, and we go to North America or England, wherever we go, and we become something, you know? It's not like Indians leave here and then go to other countries and become beggars. We don't do that. We're survivors. We can make stuff happen, you know what I mean? If we can endure the British over here for how many hundreds of years they were here for, we could do anything after that, you know what I mean?
There's a question here. Right this side, yeah.
You make digs at your father all the time.
Mm-hmm.
What about your mum?
It's your mom, you know. My mom's cute. My mom's like 4'10", and she's cuddly, and she's a little round, and you know, she's a mom. She's a mom, you know. I'm like, I can't stop hugging my mom when I see her. I don't let her go. Like when I walk with my mom's like, people are gonna think, look at this lady, she's picked up a young boy. And my mom's funny. She used to tell me like really dirty limericks when I was a kid. Yeah, she used to tell me dirty Indian limericks. Can I tell one on TV? You could beep it, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you know it. My mom told me, there once was a man from Madras whose was made of brass. In stormy weather, they'd clang together and sparks would fly out of You know which one?
Your mom told you that?
My mom told me that. I can't make that up. You know? That's why I'm mad that they changed Madras to Chennai. That doesn't work anymore. There once was a man from Chennai. The poor bugger had one eye. You know, it's not as funny, you know?
No, but is there something about Indians and their mothers? Like you also
you have to covet your mother, I think. I mean, you know, I think every Indian family always covets the mother, especially the guys. I mean, you know, you have to. It's your mom. She made you, you know.
You see a lot of that in Hindi Bollywood movies as well, right?
Yeah, but they go a little overboard with it. I mean, these guys turn into bitches in the movies. You know, it's like, don't talk about my mom. You know, I'm like, you know, my mom's pretty tough. So if you talk about my mom, and you be like, yeah, your mom. I'm like, why don't you go tell my mom? I'm like, no, I'm not telling your mom. You know.
Okay, any more questions?
Have you, at any point of your career, been criticized?
Oh, I get criticized all the time. You know.
And how do you handle that?
You know, you gotta understand people, however people react to certain things. See, I look at it from my point of view of you think your way and I think my way. And if you like my views, great. And if you don't, that's great too, you know. That's what this world is about, free thinking, you know. That's what, you know, and if, I got an email just recently regarding some of my interviews that I've been doing in India, and the guy's calling me a jackass, and you're disrespecting India, and how dare you say this about our people, and this and that, and I'm like, then don't watch me. Don't read the interview, stupid.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. It's just like, it's that simple. I mean, I understand you get offended. I get offended by things, but that doesn't mean I'm going to keep watching it if I get offended, you know? Like, why would you get so offended that this is how you're approaching it? I mean, just be like, well, I don't need that guy, you know.
Does anybody get offended here?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't know. That guy looks pretty angry, that guy. The whole time I've been watching him. He seems angry, just like, I'm watching you, Peters.
No, but what's generally been the reaction of the audiences to you in India?
The reaction's been great. I mean, the audiences they're there for you. I don't think they're going to spend that kind of money just to come and stare at you. You know what I mean? And they expect something. And I really respect my fans as far as, you know, without you guys, I'm just a guy standing on stage with a microphone talking to myself. So I do things for the people that are liking what I'm saying. I'm not trying to get these other people to change their mind. I mean, if you misinterpret what I'm saying, then I can't help you with that.
That's your problem.
Yeah, because I'm not really, nothing I say is out of malice. Everything I say comes from a fun place or a real place. And if you get mad at the real things that I say, then you just got mad at reality. And you better not watch the news. You know what I mean? Because you're just going to sit there, damn the world, you know.
Don't say anything against news channels now.
I love NDTV.
Okay, on that we take a short break. When we come back, those secrets, and what he's dying to do is the bhangra.
I'm not really dying to do that.
Welcome back to India Questions with Russell Peters, who... Bhangra is a complicated dance, right?
It is not a complicated dance. I mean, you can make it complicated, but it's never complicated by yourself. It only gets complicated when you add like a Bhangra team, and then you got 10 people trying to do the exact same move at the same time.
But how do you know about Bhangra?
Because in Canada, I would say a good 80% of the Indians are Punjabi, so they really influence how North America views Indians, you know what I mean? And people are like, oh, are you Punjabi? I'm like, no, there's more than just them in India. We have so many other people too.
Do you have any Punjabi here who can do the Bhangra? You can do it? Yeah. Come, let's have a look at...
I'll teach you.
No, you also have to. You have to tell us
do it.
Can we have some Bhangra music? You have to do it.
I'm going to stand. I'll jump in. You can't Bhangra with a girl.
Any other questions we have here? Here, this young girl here.
When you're up on stage, you are funny. It's just there. But when you meet people professionally and otherwise, are you always expected to be funny, and does that really tick you off?
No, I don't really know what their expectations are because
There's no
that's
pressure?
in their head, right? I'm me, no matter what situation I'm in. You know.
Do people ever say something funny now?
Well, yeah, they can't do that. That's like, that's weird. When people do that all the time. Oh, Russell, say something funny. I'm like, what? How about I react funny to your stupid question? How about that? You don't walk up to a model and go, oh, you're a model, be pretty.
Well, you've been interviewed by a lot of people over the last couple of weeks. What have they kind of asked you that irritated the daylights out of you?
It's always, well, one guy asked me, what's the funniest thing about Indians? I'm like, what? What do you mean, what's the funniest thing about it? Like, what do you think's the funniest? I go, I don't know. That's just such a ridiculous question. So I had to give an answer. So I go, I don't know. I guess the accent. And that's when I got that email, the guy was like mad. How dare you? I'm like, dude, I had to give an answer. There was like, what am I going to say? There's not any one thing funny about us. It's
everything.
It's as a group we have. Well, no, because the thing is with India, it's not like, it's the same from top to bottom and east to west. It's completely different everywhere you go. So, when we say as Indians, we're really referring to what part we're in at that point.
Right.
Because Bengalis think completely different from Punjabis, and South Indians think...
Bengalis, now be careful. There are a lot of your relations in Calcutta.
I know, but the Bengalis take themselves very seriously.
Very seriously.
Right?
And quite rightly.
Yeah, they do. But and then we say the Indian accent, and then again that's different because depending on which Indian language you spoke, that will determine how your English comes out.
So Bengali in Canada would be out of place, would it?
Yeah, there's not a lot. There's a few, but not a lot. You very rarely see them. They have little functions, And then it's like, hey, look at us. We're eating puchkas, you know.
Calcutta's watching.
I know.
Any other questions?
A dream man for any girl is someone who can make the girl laugh. So how many proposals have you got here in India?
I wish I could say I got some, but I didn't get nothing on this trip. Now, you know, here's the thing. Now, women say they want a guy with a sense of humor, but I've had this personality my whole life. I never got the level of women that I get now until I got money. So it's true, because women say they want a guy with a sense of humor, but that'll be annoying if he's broke. You don't want the girl going, you know. You don't want her to be like, what's for dinner? I don't know. How about a joke? You know. So when they say they want a guy with a sense of humor, they want a guy with money and a sense of humor. Otherwise, a guy with money and shitty jokes, he'll do.
You believe that?
I'm sure in the real India it could possibly be true.
In the real anywhere.
But today I'm sure you're a big catch.
I don't know if I'm a big catch. I'm trying to lose weight. That's a big catch.
But the rumors you've had lots of proposals on this trip.
No, I mean, I've there was like some. I was hoping to meet some Bollywood chicks, you know, because let's be honest, they are really hot, right? And you know, they haven't come out. And even if they have, you know, it's kind of like they're too cool for school. Like, oh, nice to meet you. I'm like, keep it moving, stupid. You know what I mean? Like you can. Here's the thing: being beautiful or being pretty will get you in the door. But then when you speak and you have nothing to say to me, you're out the door just as fast as you came in. Because I've dated some really even women that I would have had posters of on my wall, and I've dated them, and I've been like, oh my God, Angela's even met them, you know, and he's like, Malaka, how did you meet this girl, right? And I'm like, I don't know how I've got this girl. And I remember going out with this one girl. She was an FHM model. And she was like number 12 on the top 100 hot women. And I was like, and we were out, and this was Valentine's Day, and I'm out with her, and I'm like, I'm driving, I'm like, and she's like, what? And I go, look at you. And she's like, what do you mean? I go, you look incredible. She goes, you look good too. I go, no. I go, why would a girl like you be interested in a guy like me? She goes, what do you mean? I go, look at you, and then look at me. I'm not a handsome man. And she's like, don't get caught up in looks. I go, no, I'm just saying. What I tried to explain to her was, all I'm saying is, I'm sure that there's a guy who's 10 times better looking than me with the same personality. And she goes, don't get caught up in that. I don't even like good-looking guys. I was like, well, thank God I'm ugly enough to make the cut.
Any other questions?
How did you, growing up in North America, how did your parents...
Why do you have that accent?
Because I'm from the States.
Oh, see?
And I'm just here on the study abroad thing. But how did you...
Wait, why are you trying to minimize it? I'm just here.
No.
You just did this. I'm not like them.
No.
I'm Indian, but not that.
But growing up, how did your parents react with you dating people who weren't Indian? How did they do?
I grew up and all my friends are black. So I ended up dating a lot of... Yeah? Where did you grow up?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Actually, half in Hawaii, half in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah, that happens. I grew up around a lot of black guys, so I would always go to black parties, and then there'd be a lot of black girls, so I'd be like, I'll take a black girl. So I dated a lot of black girls growing up. So, and my line for picking up black girls when I was growing up was, Because, you know, black girls would always, like, straighten their hair or get weave or whatever. And my line was always like, hey, baby, you want to go have kids with good hair? Because that's the whole thing in the black community is like, you know, if we had kids, they'd have good hair. Like, that's their idea. Like, if the kid hair came out straightenable, like, ooh, he'd have good hair, you know?
Back row. Yeah.
Have you had a role model when you grew up? A sort of person you looked up at?
Well, I always, growing up, there was never anybody famous, really, that I would look at. Because growing up in Canada in the 70s and 80s, and, you know, there was no... I always wanted somebody that looked like me. Like, I always wanted, like, a brown person to be my role model. You know what I mean? So I would look at, like, I would watch Chips as a kid, and I would see Eric Estrada, and I didn't know that Mexicans were from Mexico. I thought they were just Indians, because he looked Indian as hell, you know what I mean? I was like, hey, look, we can do this. And then I found out he's Mexican. I'm like, God damn it. So it'd always be like, you know, my father or my brother, you know, or somebody like that, somebody close to the family where I would be like, well, this is what I can strive for. And then I think that's another reason why it's a great thing that, you know, you got Indian people trying to break out and, you know, do these things outside the box and then give other brown faces something to strive for, you know? Right. Like Amir Khan, the boxer from England. Mm-hmm. I think that's like another thing, you know what I mean? Like, as a guy who used to box, I look at him and I go, man, I wish I could have done that, you know? But it's great that he's doing it, and then it gives us something else outside the doctor, lawyer, architect, whatever thing, you know, it gives us alternatives.
Finally, your brother, does he ever say, I say, Russell, that's going a bit far?
My brother is my manager now.
Okay.
He's, you know, like all Indians, we've got to keep it into a family business. So, my brother's my manager, and yes, sometimes he'll be like, all right, you know, but I'm like, you know, here's the problem. I tell my brothers, like, you're thinking like a businessman, so from a business point of view, you're like, oh my God, that could hurt, you know, this and that. But as an artist, as a comedian, there's no filter in my head. Everything just comes out. Whereas, you know, you may see something and think it in your head, and then be like, no, I shouldn't say that, that's rude. I don't think like that. I just think, well, if that's what you saw, then that's what you say.
There are no filters in your mind.
There's no filters in my mind.
That's great. I think that what makes you absolutely special. Thank you very much. There's one problem.
What?
You got to dance around a few trees with boys and girls.
Hey, ooh, with the boys. Hey, ooh, ooh. You're like, yes, you are. You don't want her to be like, what's for dinner? I don't know. How about the joke? You know? What? How about I react funny to your stupid question? How about that? You know? You don't walk up to a model, oh, your model, be pretty. You know, jam the